Hey guys, Poro here with another MSI 2023 video, this time with some predictions for the playing stage. Same drill as before, I'll go over my basic general thoughts on the teams, accompanied by some mock drafts to attempt to figure out how the games might go. In this video, we've got Loud from the CB LoL versus G2 from the LEC. Loud is coming in as quite possibly my favorite team in the entire competition, but they're still the underdogs against LEC Winter Split champions G2. Even if the series ends up being a blowout, I can confidently say that the games will all be bangers. Both teams play with unrelenting pace and aggression paired with some unique drafts. In fact, it's quite literally impossible to make any sort of accurate mock draft for these two teams. I still have a couple that I'll share, but they are by no means realistic drafts in any way. The issue is that both teams have either large amounts of pocket picks, weird regional priorities that never match up, or in some cases, literally have just picked a unique champion in every game to the point where I can't guess what they have in store. That said, I'll talk more about the players while making my way through these scuffed drafts. We'll start with Loud on blue and G2 on red. The drafts start out easy enough as Loud pretty much always B1s for their ADC route. His go-to is Zeri, but picks like Xayah and Aphelios are possible. If we assume Zeri, G2 has pretty much always responded with a Vi counter pick. I also don't factor in bans in these drafts, so I would expect G2 to probably stash up Draven here, another good Zeri counter pick. I would then expect Loud to B2, B3 support in jungle here. Loud usually draft super aggressive early games that can find kill pressure across the board, so something like Nautilus Sejuani would be on brand here. Alternatively, a Mumu might be drafted instead since both Seos and Croc have split games on the champ. Croc also plays other standard junglers like Maokai and Wukong, and I would not be surprised to see either here. I then expect G2 to go with Kennen on R3. G2 is extremely high priority on Kennen. Additionally, the CB LoL has absolutely zero priority on Kennen, so I don't expect it to be banned or picked away, meaning BB gets his free Kennen pick here. Of the times G2 has picked Draven, some of their pairings for support have been Rakan, Lulu, and Heimer. Rakan traditionally isn't very good in lane against Nautilus, but I could still see it being locked in here anyway. Then moving on to B4, B5 for Loud, I would love to say Robo just slams Olaf here. However, I have zero idea if Robo will actually play Olaf into Kennen, since he has never played against Kennen all split. On the one side, you have a team who's first picking and banning Kennen every chance possible, and on the other side, you have a team who doesn't even know that Kennen exists. Olaf doesn't sound bad into Kennen in my head though, especially in side lane later on, so I'll just say Robo goes with that. I then expect Tennyson to blind a Taliyah on P5 since that's usually up his alley and he takes the blind pick a lot. Alternatively, he might go Lissandra, although it can be difficult to blind Lissandra. It is good into Kennen though. If Tennyson goes with Taliyah, my first thought was that Caps is the type of player to try to match the roam capability. Picks like Ryze, TF, and Galio went through my mind. Then I remembered that G2 has a Kennen, and I considered the possibility of a Nocturne lock in here. It's literally impossible to predict what Caps will do, and he has played 11 unique champions across 13 games. He might also try to punish a roamer with Tristana, a pick that can take turrets quickly with priority. If Tennyson goes with a pick like Lissandra, Caps might try to punish the short range with a pick like Cassiopeia. Looking at this draft, the outcome can really go one of two ways. Either Robo completely runs over BB in top lane with Olaf and carries through that, or Hansama stomps the Zeri Draven matchup and snowballs the game from bot lane. It's interesting as LEC has basically permabanned Draven against G2 because they can't figure out how to stop it, and CB LoL has likewise been permabanning Robo's Olaf because they can't figure out how to stop that either. I'm inclined to say G2 wins this one though, since teams have yet to crack through the Draven pick, especially when you have a Vi into Zeri as another form of engage. Now we'll swap it up and put G2 on blue side and Loud on red. G2 at the current moment has only one B1 pick, and that's Kennen. I then expect Rout to pick on R1 with either Xayah or Zeri, although Rout seems to heavily prefer Xayah on red side. R2 depends on if Olaf gets banned or not. If it does, I expect a jungle pickup here with something like Sejuani. Assuming Draven isn't banned, this is a spot where G2 could slam a Draven Nautilus kill lane on B2, B3. The Loud response to this would likely be a Braum pickup for Seos, the champ he leans towards when he needs something defensive. Continuing to go in theme, this seems like another Lissandra Taliyah angle for Tennyson, followed by what would likely be a Sylas B4 pick for Caps, as that was his prior Lissandra counter pick. Seeing G2 pick jungle so late isn't unusual, as Jike doesn't mind picking later on anyways, with his most likely picks being along the lines of Wukong, Vi, or Jarvan. If Tennyson went Lissandra, this is probably at least an angle for Croc on R5 for the strong mid-jungle pairing. If Robo's Olaf got banned earlier, or if Loud just wants to pick jungle early on anyway, seeing Robo pick up something like an Aatrox on R5 is also possible. This draft actually thematically favors Loud on paper since they're playing a pick comp that can disengage into a non-tanky engage comp. I could definitely see a world where Draven gets shut out early and G2 can't find a way back in. Overall, I can't really determine which side will win through just draft alone. Both sides play a lot of aggro comps and champions, so I really just expect teams to go full face first into each other if possible. Despite both teams having good players across the board, I think G2 has better matchups in jungle, mid, bot, and support, but the one angle where Loud can make their way into the game is through top. BB excelled at mid to late game teamfighting and macro, but struggled heavily in lane all split. Robo on the flip side is an all-in lane dominance player and proved in Worlds 2022 that he can go toe-to-toe with the best top laners out there and win. Robo is the carry who can decide the match. The winner of this series will be dependent on which team can weak side better. If Rout can weak side the bot lane pressure from Hans and Robo can blast through BB, then Loud can win. If Phoebe can weak side the pressure from Robo while the rest of his team pops off, G2 will win. Overall, I'd say G2 is favored at maybe a 60-40 split to win the series. Both teams have strong players and strong early games, and G2 is the stronger of the two in most scenarios, but Loud do have a better top lane phase to play through. I'll hopefully get the other two series predictions out before MSI starts, but that's all from me for now. Bye.